Pretty simple job here. We are doing some social media content for a company. This is a client that I picked up earlier this year, and they've been sending me out on a couple of shoots for mainly social media content. A lot of it is vertical, some of it is horizontal, but for this particular day, we committed to only vertical content. Jobs like these are pretty easy. They typically just take 2 hours or so to get all the content that we need. They usually require one light. They don't require anything elaborate, any sort of crazy setups. And the positive thing about jobs like these is that you can get a ton of content for the client in such a short amount of time. And I don't have to be too picky with how I lob people up or if I need to use a boom mic or anything. When it comes to social media, it is more forgivable to see the mic on the person that's speaking, whether it's a Rode or DJI or whatever. It's just a forgivable thing to have them visible. And this is me using my light stand as a tripod because I actually forgot my tripod on this shoot. So luckily I had a cage on my camera and I was able to use one of the 1/4-inch screw holes on the side to attach it to the light stand. And we were able to have a static camera that was needed because the subject was going to get split twice in one shot. And thankfully my light stand was there, so we were able to get that static shot. Again, my go-to light setup is this small Godox ML100 bicolored lights and a V-mount battery. This has been my go-to lighting setup for several months now, maybe even close to a year, just because of how small it is, how light it is, how travel friendly it is, and how versatile it is. It doesn't take long to set up. I can move around quickly to get it where I need to have it, and it just saves a bunch of time on setup. It doesn't take long at all. So this light is just going to act as a bit of a filler because we're film. All these lights are going to stay on, but I do want just a little bit of direction from something. So I'm going to bounce this light off the wall, give us a nice little bit of a key, and that's just going to make it look just a little bit nicer than otherwise using the house lights. There is a part of my career that I've been neglecting a ton, and that has been my network. And it seems very obvious now, but for a very long time, I felt like my success solely depended on my skill set. How good I am on set, how good my gear is, how well I'm able to execute anything that is needed on set. And though that's a part of it, that is most certainly not the majority of it. In fact, I would argue that a majority of the work you get is by having a fantastic network of people. Let's say, for example, I just decided to be an actor today, right? I just announced that I was going to be an actor, and then I just sat on my couch waiting for the acting roles to come, right? Nothing would come because nobody knows I'm an actor. Nobody knows that I exist. So the only way to start getting acting roles is to start sending out audition tapes, is to start going to networking events, to events with other actors and let people know that I'm an actor, to start having a portfolio and stuff like that. But the point is to let people know that you're an actor. It's the same thing with being a video professional. The more people that know what you do, what kind of gear you have, what kind of work you produce, the more people are willing to reach out to you for that work. And I'm kicking myself right now because it seems like such an obvious thing, but again, I've neglected it for such a long time. And so if I were to put any sort of theme on 2026, it would be to expand my network. The name of the game for this year is going to be to network the crap out of myself and just let people know where I am and what I do. In fact, a really quick story about how my current network saved me was last year I injured myself. I ruptured my Achilles. That's a video I'm going to get into later this year. I wasn't able to work for about 3 months. I wasn't able to find myself on set for at least 3 months. And so what happened was I called every single person in my current network and told them about my situation, let them know that I couldn't film, but I was available to edit, right? And because of the network that I had, someone just happened to be working on a documentary that received funding and they were looking for editors to help put this thing together. And so because of my network, I was able to snag that job and have revenue come in while I was recovering. But if I did not know this person, then I would not have gotten that job and it would have been harder for me to find some source of income while I was recovering. So that right there is a perfect example of how having a good network of people helps you retain work and be consistent in the field that you are currently in. And I feel like what I'm saying is very obvious, but it's funny how many people end up neglecting their network because they depend on just having a good skill set and a bunch of good gear. This second project was a series of interviews for a company, and you can see that I have 2 light sources, and I was trying to go for a cove lighting effect for this one. Usually I only have one of these set up, but I decided to try something different and make the light source bigger, so that way I would have a softer source. It would wrap around my subject's face a little nicer and give it more of a cove lighting effect. We are rocking a 2-camera setup, my Sony a7S III, which has a 24-70 on it, and then my Sony a7 IV, which had a 50mm. And a really cool thing is that the interviewer wanted to run the interviews himself, so I was able to pop my iPad onto a tripod and have him ask the questions via WhatsApp. And all I had to do was just make sure that the iPad was lined up with the subject's eye line, so that way it made sense when she was looking off camera, that as if she was actually looking to an interviewer. And again, just really quickly showing the versatility of this one light. We were on a time crunch on this shoot and I wanted to get as much B-roll as possible. And with this light, again, I was able to pop it where it had to be to give me a nice key light and get the shots I needed, put the light in another position, get the shots I needed, rinse and repeat. And we were able to just quickly get all the shots in the shot list and wrap up on time. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to get work from building funnel systems. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to get work from creating Facebook ads or cold calling. I like the idea of going to networking events, mingling with people while I'm on set, and building the network like that. I went to one networking event a couple of years ago, and from that one networking event, I was able to land 2 music video jobs. Even if you aren't able to immediately snag a job like that, what you are doing instead is you are planting seeds, you are introducing yourself to people, and you are, again, letting them know what your services are, what your capabilities are, and you are staying top of mind in their head. So the different ways I am going to start networking more this year is through this YouTube channel, through Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, but also just finding myself in more meetups and networking events. There's an app I use, it's called Meetup. I've attended a couple of networking events through this app, and from those networking events, I did land a couple of jobs, not at every event, but at some, and it's a good way to get yourself out there and start meeting more people and, again, building your network. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm going to be doing throughout 2026 is just, doubling, tripling down on networking, building that web of connections so that way the consistency of work can be there and I no longer have to worry about that feast or famine cycle as a video professional. So if you guys got any value out of this video, as always, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy filming.